I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Darren Parkman.
And we are the Travel Guys.
Well, my friend, here we are back for the first time in 10 years amongst the rolling green hills of none other than Belfast, Northern Ireland, don't you know?
Oh, I got a sense I'm going to hear that phrase a lot, actually.
Absolutely.
Coming up, we're going to visit a museum that pays tribute to the most famous ship in history.
We'll head up to the very northern tip of the country to check out the fabled Giant's Causeway.
And we'll visit a very popular beer fest and, because it's very popular now, go on a gin tour around Belfast.
Sounds good to me. What's the crack, by the way?
You better explain that to our audience.
That means in Irish slang, where's the fun? Stick around.
We hit the ground running at Belfast, as the Travel Guys always do. We're here with Alan, and what a concept this place is called Curated Kitchen, where, for you viewers watching, we've just been digging into some of the food. You get about 10 items per week on your menu, but it's all inspired by cookbooks from famous cooks. Cookbooks get sent to you, and you just pick and choose. Can you tell our viewers back home a little bit about it?
Well, the idea is there's so much good going on in the world of cookbooks that we don't need to create our own menu, we can curate a menu. And what we do is we look for the cookbooks that are new, old, classics. We pick our favourites that we think you'll like, and we put them on our menu, changing that menu every week.
We're going back in to eat more food. Curated Kitchen, come check it out, right in the heart of Belfast City.
Well, we're now on the rolling green slopes high above the city centre at another great historic site. It's Belfast Castle. Now, this castle was built in the early 1800s and took more than 50 years to build. Today, it's surrounded by a public park. It's actually a pretty gorgeous structure, but it's not what you typically expect an Irish castle to look like. I think it's done more in the Scottish style, but a good-looking building. One great thing about being this high up is you get a great view of Belfast Lough and the Belfast city centre.
Well, when you come to Belfast, one of the things you must check out is the Titanic Museum.
The most famous ship in the world was built right here on this spot. Let's go learn more about it.
In this room is where they would have designed the Titanic.
It's kind of eerie to think that they had no idea the fate of the ship eventually.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is this actual room pictured here is actually, it still exists.
Yeah.
It's actually part of a hotel now right across the street.
That's right, Titanic Hotel. And we should say that they couldn't put lamps on their desks. That's why they have the big windows to bring the light in.
Natural light.
In the museum where we are right now is pretty much the highest point you can go in the museum, and the museum is the height of what the Titanic was.
This is the actual view people would have seen as the ship was launched. What, over 100 years ago?
100 years ago.
I'm just checking out the menu here, and my mouth's starting to water. Look, you got mutton chops from the grill, and you've got custard pudding. Mutton chops, wasn't that your nickname in high school?
It was actually. It's a long story, but the size of those amazing to me.
Oh, it's so tiny, but that's a true piece of collectible history. The museum's got some great photographs here of the ship kind of before its ill-fated end.
Yeah.
Some real historic photographs.
Here's one I've never seen before, buddy. This is the last known photo of the Titanic as it was leaving Queenstown.
Wow. Not long after that,
Yeah.
it became the most famous ship in the world.
That's very true. Buddy, I gotta tell you, this museum is amazing.
That's right, and there is a Canadian connection to the Titanic tragedy. And we experienced that when we
Right.
visited some of the graves of the victims in Halifax a few years ago. Well, this is one of the coolest things in all of Belfast, I have to say.
Yeah.
We are standing in the actual spot where the original Titanic was built over 100 years ago.
And it was launched right here into...
Belfast Lock, right behind
Very
us.
much.
You're welcome.
I know you're not a huge fan, but I'm a massive Game of Thrones fan, and so it's tantalizing that we are this close to Titanic Studios, where most of the interior shots for Game of Thrones is filmed.
That's crazy. What a weird tie-in. The thing, when you're watching Game of Thrones next time, just remember it's all filmed inside the Titanic Studios
Yeah,
here in
interiors.
Belfast, where the Titanic was built. Weird kind of.
Yeah.
What a concept. Why not have a beer festival inside an historic church?
We're at ABV. It's alcohol by volume. This is a great celebration of beers, international, local, and you and I, of course, viewers know we like our beer. We don't have churches that are 600-700 years old.
It's an interesting choice as a venue to have like an historic church with all these arches and to be drinking inside here. It doesn't seem to fit somehow, but it's still a cool idea.
It works, and it kind of ties in with one thing that you and I have discussed several times while we've been in Belfast. It's a really young, vibrant city, and they're doing different kind of off-the-wall kind of things.
What you're saying is everything works with beer.
Well, that's a really nice bumper sticker way to put it, actually.
Thank you, I thought so. The only distressing news I can think of at this very moment is the fact that your glass is empty, sir.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Let's remedy that. Let's remedy that.
Organizer
All
empty. Wow.
right. My standards are low, though. I just said as long as it's beer and it's wet, I'm in.
There we go.
All right. Wow.
You gave me a full pour. I appreciate it.
Hey,
Cheers.
wow. Wait a
full
second. Wow.
pour.
That's all right.
What the alcohol content on this
You're
beer?
at 5.2.
5.2?
5.2.
So almost sessionable.
I've been known to handle as much as 8.2, so I'm good.
It's good to know.
And the great thing is, we're actually in a church.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah. Is there a confession booth around here?
I'd have a few more drinks before you
Yes.
confess.
All right.
Cheers. Are we done?
Very good atmosphere, a lot of bars, restaurants, nightlife. It's really more up-and-coming city. During the Troubles in Belfast, the city sort of changed itself, and we're starting to pick up with other European cities.
You've come a long way, haven't you?
Have indeed.
Absolutely. Now, can you guess where my accent's from?
Is it Canada?
It is.
Yeah.
How'd you know? You can tell just by.
Just
yeah?
guessed, yeah.
You want to hear my Belfast accent?
Yeah, let me hear.
What's the crack? Thanks a million.
That's not bad,
That's not bad. Let's hear your Canadian accent.
Hey, man.
I've been eating lots and drinking lots and walking lots. It's a great walking city.
Yeah, especially if you go outside of Belfast, like around the coast, there's like the giant Causeway and stuff you can always visit, and the rope bridges and stuff. So there's lots of stuff to do, like.
Well, we're about 80 kilometers or 50 miles from Belfast in the picturesque small town of Cushendun.
And what's kind of cool is right behind us, that landmass, sir, only about 12 miles away, that's actually Scotland, Mulligan. It's unbelievable how these two caves behind us look. They almost look like a movie set, don't they?
They do, and actually they were used not in a movie, but a very popular TV show, Game of Thrones.
Are you afraid of caves?
No.
So you're not going to be a sissy?
Well, let's see how it goes.
No crying?
Maybe a bit of crying.
Okay.
Well, now we're in the heart of the caves, and we're with a guy who knows all about them and a lot more. You actually appeared on Game of Thrones as an extra. We're with Flip.
He was a stand-in, by the way.
He was a stand-in.
Not an extra.
Oh, an extra. My apologies.
Yes, it's a step up. You get
Before the show, you get like geologists coming here, and that's about it.
Yeah, these caves are about 400 million years of age, so they're pretty special. It's a conglomerate. The color of them as well, it's from the red desert, so there's a link even with Game of Thrones.
And they shot a scene in Game of Thrones in
They-
these caves.
they
What did
did.
it look like during that time? I mean, it must have been 1 million lights and 1 million crew people in here.
No, it would be pretty small. It would be reduced right down. I do know that it was November, so that's pretty cold in this part of the world. Pretty damp, chilly, and it was 4:30 a.m. when they actually shot the first scene
Wow.
in here where Davos rode in with Melisandre.
It actually does not look real in here. It looks like a movie set. I mean, just the way it's designed, it just perfect for a show like Game of Thrones.
Absolutely, yeah. It's
Wow.
incredible. The location scouts know what they're doing.
By the way, your height is very intimidating. I just want to tell you.
Yes, he's very tall. Darren and I are not 5'4",
Yeah.
like Kit Harington.
Want to know what you're doing there?
Just have a little rest.
Really? One of the oddest places to rest.
Just taking a load off.
All right. Well,
It's real peaceful in this cave here.
I'll be out in the sunshine.
I might make a condo in here. Maybe with a den over there. Well, we're taking a little break here in Cushendun at a great little pub called Mary McBride's, and it's a seafood bistro as well. Looking forward to a bite to eat.
I'm actually looking forward to doing something that let you do here, where you can pull your own pint.
Pull your own what now? I noticed you just said you're taking a wee step back. Is there a reason for that? Are you afraid I'm gonna?
I just want you to be the one on the camera.
Oh, okay. No, come on, okay. So is this the Guinness tap here?
This is the Guinness tab.
All right. Any trick to doing this?
Well, you have to hold a 45-degree angle.
45-degree angle. Okay. Yes.
Up and below.
Right up in there. Okay. Let me.
And
Here
then
we
straight
go.
down. Straight down.
Straight down. All right.
Yeah.
Ah.
There we go. There we go.
And that's you. You leave it till it sails.
I have to wait now.
Yep. 90 seconds.
90 seconds. Okay. Put a clock on this. That feels like it's been about 90 seconds.
Well, no, you gotta let it
It's been
settle.
about
No,
90. Let me try.
you're doing it all wrong. That's it.
You need a head on it first.
He doesn't have much one up here either, so.
It's okay, Jim. Go for it.
Yeah,
No, not like that. Push it down. Push it down. There. Now you got it.
tell you about the-
Now you-
Yeah, you've poured one. All of a sudden, he's the expert, isn't he? Yeah, that's great.
Easy.
No, no, I know what I'm doing here.
Easy. Oh. Ah, okay.
And then you get really fancy and draw wee designs and stuff. out.
Wow.
I'm learning so much here.
Close enough.
Wow.
There we go. Excellent.
I gotta be honest with you, that's horrible. I don't even know what that looks like. Part of the male anatomy, actually.
All right. Cheers.
Perfect.
Do I got one of them Guinness stashes again?
Yes, you do.
Do I? Good. That's the look here.
5 years old.
Wow, this is unbelievable. You and I were here at the Giant's Causeway how long ago?
10 years ago last month.
And 10 years ago, there wasn't all these people. There are thousands of people visiting here, and they have a new state-of-the-art visitor center here. This has become, I guess, a major tourist attraction for the tip of Northern
Oh,
Ireland.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you, when you get the World Heritage Site label, that actually increases the showcase for your place. You know, you get up close to these rocks, and it almost looks like they were made by, like, man-made in a Hollywood studio or something.
They're made by nature, and most of them, I guess, are hexagon-shaped. And it's just so cool to see so many together in one place. This is, though, not unique to Northern Ireland. There are other places in the world where these exist, but these, I think, are some of the biggest ones in the world.
Yeah.
You know, you come to the northern tip of Northern Ireland, there's green pastures everywhere, but who'd have thought you'd stumble across a world-class grilled cheese trailer?
When you come up to check out the Giant's Causeway, just across the street is Maiden's Grilled Cheese and Coffee Bar and Buddy. They've been in business less than a year, but they're already causing a grilled cheese sensation.
Sensation across the nation. I say, grilled please cheese. I mean, grilled cheese please.
Have you been drinking already? Well, what are you having now? I'm having 5 original Irish cheeses.
Come on, fella. Scared them away. Look, they're friends with the goat, though. They're friends with the goat. Isn't that cute? This is a Disney movie right here. Look at this. The goat and the llamas are friends.
Maybe we'll offer them some beer, maybe, yes?
Yeah. Okay, where is it? Is that?
Oh, it's very crowded here. I'm not really sure, but
No, okay, we can't leave without seeing. No, where on the map is number 10 Downing Street? We got to see that. Where is it? Where's number 10 Downing?
You go down the street, turn left about 2 countries. You're in the wrong. That's England. We're in Northern Ireland.
And we are where?
We're in Northern Ireland.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
yes,
see.
exactly.
More travel guys coming up
Yeah,
after
we'll
this.
try to get that figured out, actually. Well, it takes someone very special to get me actually in a market on a Saturday morning after being out the night before. I'm with Caroline, who's been touring us around town. This is a tradition here in Belfast. It's the St. George's Market. So let's talk about what we've seen here today and what people come here for.
People come here for the best pressed produce you can get in the city centre. So we've got, as you can see, lots of beautiful apples. We've got lovely fresh fruit and vegetables. We've fresh fish, meats. It's everything you can get. The baked goods, perfect.
Has this been around a long time?
This has been here since 1896.
So a long time. Belfast has really gone up tourism-wise, hasn't it, compared to like 10 years ago?
Hugely. We're now something like the second safest place to visit in the world, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. The great thing about Belfast is we've had an awful lot of independent owners of restaurants and coffee shops and things like that, so they're really passionate about what they're doing and they want to give locals as well as visitors the best.
Very nice, very polished actually. Hey, do your Canadian accent for our viewers right now, please.
Belfast.
Well, now we find ourselves at Couture, buddy. This is one of the top chocolate-making everythings in the city, if not one of the best ones in the world. And what are you going to go into first?
Well, I've got something here. It's a beer chocolate. So it combines two of my favorite things, beer and chocolate. And it even smells like beer. Oh, hang on. Or is that me? It's Irish all the way. Beer and chocolate. Let me try it. Oh, it's good. And it tastes like beer.
Yeah?
What more do you need?
Probably 7 or 8 more of those, I would imagine. I got I'll just call it a brownie, basically. But what's exciting about this is it's delicious, first of all, but it has less calories than a banana.
Wow.
This woman here, Deidre, also makes one of the top hot chocolates on the planet. Well, another stop on our little journey here in Belfast, buddy. More food. We're at a place called Soares. It's not Sawyers.
Soares.
Soares. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Soares.
Okay,
a lot of people think it's
not sores.
Soares.
Sores are a whole different ball of wax. I'll talk about that later.
Okay. Well, you will talk about that later because right now you're going to be doing some eating.
I am. I'm very excited about this. I'm so excited about this. I have in my hand here a handful of purple tissue paper.
No,
and I'm gonna it looks like it does. It's dulse, uniquely Irish. This is from the north coast of Ireland,
yes.
and it looks like a tasty treat that's fun to eat. Okay, let me try it. I'm gonna try it. Yeah, I'm excited. You want to try some? Go ahead. Graze like cattle do. There you go. Let's try it. Here we go. Very salty.
Interesting texture.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm. This is actually burning the hair of my feet off. Well, we're taking a little break from the food scene with a delicious coffee. This is the ground zero for great coffee in Belfast, known as Established. Are you enjoying it?
I am digging this Java.
Oh, so am I. And good news is there's no whiskey in there.
Right behind us is the structure known as the Peace Wall. Can you explain the significance of this here?
The Peace Wall is part of a 9-mile wall process throughout Belfast. It essentially kept Catholics and Protestants segregated from each other for many years. Many years ago, the British Prime Minister, Margaret Thatcher, wouldn't let the leader of Sinn Féin speak on television. Literally, his voice could not be heard.
And we see barbed wire and fences everywhere, and it really was that way. I mean, the Catholics and the Protestants were totally segregated from each other, and this is where we hear the term the Troubles develop.
Yes, the Troubles is a term that we would use to simply describe the troubles that happened in this area. The strange or ironic thing about Bobby Sands was that at the time of his death, he was a British Member of Parliament. Back in the day, whenever the troubles were happening, that was just normality, that was normal life. And we could never see these days happening. I mean, one very broad stroke indication of how things have changed is tourism in Northern Ireland.
I was going to say, it's packed.
There was a time when you could not come to Belfast to check out the sights. So things have changed a lot. It's a great place to come now if you want to learn about the history, and you, my friend, should become a historian. Thank you for enlightening us a little bit on the troubles and how things have changed.
Not a problem at all.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Well, instead of sitting on a bar stool all day, this is the life, my friend, which I've been occasionally known to do. I thought I'd check out a little bit of the architecture and the history of Belfast. And just by looking around, you can tell there's no shortage of it. Behind me is one of Belfast's most famous landmarks. It's the Albert Clock. And no, I haven't been drinking. It actually is tilted because it's built on unstable ground. It's tilted 4 degrees. Wow, I can't get over that tilting. Or maybe it's me that's tilting, I'm not sure actually. There's actually a bit of scandalous folklore about Albert Clock. In olden days, it was known as the place where, how shall I say, women of the evening would meet their customers. Right here, right around the clock. Unbeknownst to us, Belfast is actually quite well known for, of all things, gin. And upon hearing this excellent news, myself and Jim Gordon have decided to embark on a gin tour of Belfast, which is a capital idea, is it not?
Wow, I was going to say, I got caught up listening. Were you a broadcaster at one point? Or?
No, I've been told I had that talent, though.
Wow. Yes, we're doing a little gin tour here in Belfast. It's all the rage at the moment, as it is in a lot of cities. We're starting out at a place called Rita's, which is, if you look at the interior here, it's actually modeled after an Asian brothel.
My living room's modeled after an Asian brothel.
I heard that, actually.
So I feel right at home here, actually.
Well, their signature gin drink is a mixture of bathtub gin.
Yeah.
A little cinnamon.
That's what the gangsters used to make, isn't it?
Right,
Bathtub
yeah.
gin.
A little cinnamon, a little orange. Let's try this.
This is the best gin I've ever tasted, by the way.
Good.
Very good. Anya, gin seems to be pretty darn big here in Belfast. Am I picking up on that? Is that the case?
Pretty accurately, yeah.
And do you get a lot of people wanting to go on this gin tour?
We do.
Basically pouring people into cabs at the end of the tour, or what?
Yeah.
So the recommended allowance per tour is normally to hit 3 spots.
One last question. What's the crack?
Depends who you're speaking
Tell
to.
that to our audience.
There are just a crazy number of great pubs here in Belfast, and we're at one of them right now, a great pub, an historic pub called the Duke of York, enjoying a refreshing Guinness.
That's right, and we should mention there's been a pub, some sort of pub here for the last 100 years, so this was a very, very popular place. And I love the fact they let people just kind of spill out on the street a little bit, have to drink on the patios. It's fantastic.
It's the history. It's like the whole city is in this one pub right now. It's just, there's hundreds of people rolling around here.
Yeah, but it's funny though, you don't see a lot of lineups.
You don't see lineups because there's so many pubs.
Yeah.
There's always another pub to go to, and it's just the history of the place. It's very cool.
It's a very good point you bring up too about the fact that you can walk into pubs that are like 100, 125 years old. I mean, that really does something to you when you're sitting in a place.
That's probably one of the newer pubs here in town, 125 years old. Well, our time here has been thrilling. We just want to say thanks a million. That's very Irish.
God, you really got to stop doing accents when we go to other countries. It's really horrible.
Okay, I'll stop. I will.
Nah, it's okay. It's adorable. But before we leave, as we always do, let's check out Jim and Darren's top 5 coolest things about Belfast.
It's adorable.
That is adorable. Hi, girls.
Number 5.
It's got to be checking out a beer festival for the first time for us in an historic church.
It won't be the last time, though, will it?
Oh, no. It's a
Cheers
new
to
thing
that.
for us. Cheers.
All right.
Number 4.
Enjoying a frosty cold one at one of Belfast's coolest pubs, the Duke of York. You know one thing I didn't realize? Guinness is actually good for you. I didn't know that. Number 3, standing in the actual spot where the most famous ship in the world, the Titanic, was built more than 100 years ago. Number 2, experiencing the city's colorful history through walls of art and beautiful architecture. And the number 1 coolest thing about our trip to Northern Ireland, it's got to be hanging out here at one of the wonders of the world, the Giant's Causeway. Look at this place.
Fantastic. We'll see you next time on The Travel Guys.
While in Belfast, the travel guys stayed at the Bullet Hotel and the Europa Hotel, and at the Giant's Causeway, the Causeway Hotel.
Post-production services by First Anniversary Pictures.
This episode of The Travel Guys is sponsored by Oxford & Kin Eyewear and Kudos Executive Transfer.
Kids, my advice is don't try this at home. Do not try this at home without the supervision of an adult, because it is strong stuff.
Or at least a glass of water.
Oh, did I mention this is beer and
no.
chocolate?
Well,
It's got beer and
this
chocolate.
one.
Not just chocolate, there's beer in here too.
There once were 2 guys that traveled. They traversed and babbled and dabbled, showed up at a bash and went out on the lash. Then all that followed unraveled.